Hi folks, welcome. It's the 11th of July and it's about 5 to 7 in the evening, and I was just going through some of my tools, and I thought it would be good to do a video on cut-off wires. So I've got in front of me here on the table some typical cut-off wires that you might find. Cut-off wires meaning wires for cutting your pots off the wheel head. I thought I'd just go through them in turn and just talk about them. Starting with this one here on the right. These are kind of heavy. I was going to say let's start off talking about what I like about them and what I don't like about them. I don't honestly feel I really like anything about this particular cut-off wire. The toggles here on the end are way too big, too cumbersome. The actual wire itself, it's a kind of multi-stranded wire, but it's not really twisted. Well, it is twisted, but it's so finely twisted that you wouldn't know it. And then finally here, of course, on the end you can see it has frayed, which typically does happen and can be kind of painful if you get one of these ending pieces here stuck in your finger. All right. As far as length of the wire is concerned, that's about all I could commend it for. Let's just get a rule a minute and give you a measurement. Here we go. So, what's the actual length of the actual? Well, it's about 11 inches between the toggles, which is actually about right for the majority of the kind of pots that you're going to make. Probably you're not going to need a lot more than that. Now, if you are making dinner plates or wider things on the base, yes, then you are going to need a wider cut-off wire. Okay, put that one to one side. We don't really like that one. Next is this kind. Now, you'll all be familiar with this. This is made by Mud Tools. Definitely better than the last ones with the blue toggles. Same kind of wire though. It's twisted, but it doesn't really, when you use it, it doesn't, I don't feel, give like a twisted wire cut off effect. Here's a twisted wire. It's one of my twisted wires. It's so important, you see, to have the right tools for the job. Now these, you might think, oh, these are really snazzy, you know, got these nice little handles here for pulling. But you know what? If you actually use it in practical, number one, let's measure it. Let us measure, let us measure, let us measure. So, this one is, this one's about 15 inches long. Okay, it's actually a little bit on the long side, which means that if you were to utilize these hoop handles, as it were, how would you do it? Would you put your fingers through it? Wouldn't you? Like that, I suppose. And then, though, you're going to use your thumbs, aren't you, to sort of hold the wire down on the wheel head. Trouble is, though, they're too far apart. If this wire had been, say, like 11 inches, it would have been better. But because it's like 15, it's a little bit too long. It doesn't make it very practical. So inevitably, you're going to take the wire like that, holding it like that, you see. You see the toggle behind my hand? That's how you're going to really hold it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to control the wire with your thumbs. You've got to control the wire with your thumbs down on the wheel head. Okay? As you cut off, you've got to keep that wire taut. You don't let it go slack like this when you pull off. I see a lot of people cutting off when they go like this, and the wire goes slack underneath. Keep that wire taut all the way as you pull. Okay, so these toggles, pretty though they are, they're not really being used properly because the wire is a little bit too long. Okay, not all that impressed with that, to be honest. It would drive me crackers if I had to use that all the time. Right, here's another example. Now this one is getting really long, isn't it? Let's measure this. This one is, well, that's 18 to there, so that'll be 19, at least 20 inches, that wire. See the length of that guy? Well, clearly that is beyond practical, just for the mere reason that it's far too long. So what do you do with a wire that's too long? You go like this, don't you? You wind it round your fingers. So what does that do to the wire though? After you've done that 35 times, you're probably going to end up with a frayed wire like this guy. All right. So that's the number one thing that's wrong with that. The number two thing is the toggles themselves are twice as big as they need to be. These toggles are 3 inches. Okay, that is far too long. All right. So you have to think about these things, and when you're working at the wheel, all this extra length of wire, the fact you've got to wind it around your hands all the time, the fact that the toggles are too big and clumsy, it means that everything is kind of like it just becomes, the whole thing becomes totally awkward, doesn't it, to use. It won't hang on the side of your tray very nicely, your wheel tray, because it's just too big, and the toggles are. And another thing, with all of these last 3 that I've showed you, you'll notice that the toggles are the same size. Okay, that one, same size toggles, same size toggles. You actually don't want the toggles to be the same size. You want them to be different sizes. You want one to be bigger or heavier than the other one. So you want a small end and you want a big end. Why is that? So that the big end, so that your wire will hang inside your tray. If my hand is the tray, it will hang inside the tray. It won't fall out on the floor. Have you ever dropped your wire on the floor and then had to pick it up, and then it's all dirty, and then you've got to go and wash it and wash your hands, and because of all the grit on the floor? You see? So having said all that, what I did say about this negatively, it's actually a good wire to have on your workbench if you want to cut through clay. You know, if you've got a lot of clay that you want to cut through, if you're wedging, that I mean by wedging, I mean cutting it and turning it and slamming it down on top of another piece, and you're doing that multiple times in order to mix it, as opposed to the kneading, then for that they are fine. In fact, I will show you here in my studio. Along the side of my, along the side here, I've got, apart from the scraper here, I've got numerous ones of these rather longer type cut-off wires. Another one of those guys. You see, So that for the wedging table, for the kneading bench, they are okay, but don't put them anywhere near your wheel. Oh my goodness me. So, oh Simon, you're very negative. Well, yeah, I'm not just being negative for the sake of being negative. I'm trying to sort of, so many people, especially people come here on workshops, they come with these, I call these generic, just generic wires, not even designed by potters at all, just fabricated by people who just think that this is what potters need. You know, that is no good in your pottery studio. Find a field and fling it. It's like a weapon, that thing. Okay, so let's go on and talk about what you really do need. What you really do need is a wire that is the right length, which, as I pointed out before, is roughly around about 11 or 12 inches is good. Okay, like this one. All right, that's this one is 12 inches. Okay, all right, that's what you will notice about that. And another thing we'll notice about this one is two. It may not come out in the video here, but this is two nylon strands that are twisted together. All right, and that enables, with those, that enables us to get that kind of cut-off effect. Now you might look at that and you might think, oh Simon, that looks very pretty. Nice little shell effect there. Well, yes, it does look. I think it looks quite nice as long as it's not too exaggerated. Sometimes people make them very deep. That's about right. So, but why do we want to have a twisted wire at all, Simon? I don't understand. Why do we just have a flat wire? Well, if you have a flat wire, in other words, one that doesn't have any twist, when you pull to cut off, you don't introduce any air into the pot. This, you see, also has got it's got more surface because it's not flat; it's undulating. It introduces air underneath your pot. All right, and that enables you to get it off. What else do we notice about this? Oh, well, that Simon, they're very small little toggles, aren't they? They don't get in the way, but you will notice that one is bigger than the other, and that is for the reason I said before, so that when you can hang it off the side of your wheel like that. Imagine my finger is the side of your wheel box. You see how that will just hang there nicely and neatly. Now another thing is, being nylon, if it does break, it won't cut your hands, it won't prick your hands, it won't make you go, ow, ooh, you see? And this is designed so that when you take the wire, when you're ready to do your cut off of your pot, you're simply going to take the wire like this, and then you go like this, pull, and you'll find that the toggles will just come, you see, to the back of the hand there. That's fine. And then I can use my thumbs, all right, in a controlled way to pull that wire underneath the pot. Okay, it's no bigger than it needs to be. It hangs nicely. It's, in fact, these ones I put a little bit of red on the end there too, so that's the one that you know hangs inside your wheel tray. Okay, all right, there it is. Now I have, you might think, well Simon, this is just an advertisement for us to come and buy your wires. Well, yes it is in a way. I won't deny, but no, have a go at making your own wires. And I have a video up there on my YouTube channel, how to make your own cutoff wire, where I show you actually how to make this. If you don't fancy making one, well then yes, by all means, go to my website and you can buy one. All right. Anyway. So, I don't know why, I just felt inspired to do a video on this, because I think in the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to just show you, I'm just going to zoom in and concentrate on the whole business of cutting your pot off the wheel head and lifting it and putting it on your wear board. Because I know I touched on this on the last video, but I do get a lot of people who come here who remark to me and say, Simon, I don't know how to lift a pot off the wheel, you know. And you really do need to know how to lift your piece off the wheel head with your bare hands. You don't need pot lifters. You don't need pot luck. you just want to get that pot quickly off the wheel without distorting it, bending it out of shape too much. Put it on the wear board, all right, so you can get your next lump of clay, smack it down, and on you go. You see? Speed, 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 speed. Next lump of clay, remember, next lump of clay, next lump of clay. You know, just don't make 3 pots or 4 and then think you've worked hard or done a lot. Make 34, you know, sit down, be serious about it, otherwise the practicing isn't going to achieve anything, because your output is so low that you're not going to get enough numbers of pots through, you see. You know, we have to drill this into ourselves, and that will then achieve the results that we want. So I would encourage you, if you have any of this, get rid of it as fast as you can, all right? Because cut off wire, you might think, well, it's not all that important. It is very important. All of your tools are important, and you want to have the right tools for the right job. Okay, these are the wrong tools, really. Half-baked tools. Get yourself the proper, you know, do it right. Do it right. Get the right tool for the job. That's all I have to say. Come and join us on a workshop if you fancy. All levels, beginners and more advanced. Okay, I'll take you wherever you're at and hopefully improve your throwing, help you, show you a few tricks and tips. That's what it's all about, you know. It's all about technique, isn't it? It's learning the technique, and you'll find, you know, you get to learn the shortcuts and how to do things a little bit more efficiently, a little bit better, you know. And that's when we're making progress, isn't it? Okay, folks. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for all of you who did write, and many of you did. I know there are a lot of comments, and commented on dear Shino, who we all miss, and it appears that many of you missed him too. I'm happy. That makes me happy that you do miss him also, and I thank you for your comments, all of those who commented. Alright folks, I'll see you in the next video. Next video coming up will be about how you, if you're somebody who's having difficulty, how you can get your pot off the wheel easily with 3 easy tips to help you get your pot onto your wear board. We keep practicing. I'll see you around town. Bye bye.